At 72, Margaret lived a life many would call content. She had spent decades raising her children, building a loving home, and finding joy in the quiet hobbies that defined her days. Her favorite time was the mornings, spent on her front porch with a cup of coffee, watching the world wake up. By the time her grandchildren were awake and bounding into her kitchen, she would be ready with a plate of pancakes, a warm smile, and endless stories. But one part of her life didn't seem all that important to her, her diet. Margaret had always been a creature of habit. For as long as she could remember, her meals revolved around bread, meat, and potatoes with the occasional apple or banana thrown in for good measure. Leafy greens, not a chance. "They're tasteless and boring," she'd say to her daughter, who often teased her about her aversion to anything green on her plate. "I've lived this long without them. Why start now?" Margaret wasn't alone in this mindset. Like many older adults, she assumed that the foods she had been eating all her life would continue to sustain her. What she didn't realize was that her body had different needs as she aged. Over the years, the slow decline had been creeping up on her, but Margaret was too busy enjoying life to notice. By the time she turned 75, however, things had started to change. It began subtly, a few moments of fatigue during the day, forgetting where she left her reading glasses and needing brighter lights to read the fine print in her knitting patterns. Margaret brushed it off as getting older, but soon the signs became harder to ignore. Her energy plummeted to the point where even simple tasks like walking to the mailbox felt exhausting. She had to sit down halfway through tidying the living room, and long walks in the garden, once her favorite pastime, became an impossible feat. Her memory grew unreliable too. She started mixing up her grandchildren's names, something that had never happened before. At first it was small things, forgetting to defrost the chicken or misplacing her house keys. But when she forgot her grandson's birthday entirely, Margaret felt a pang of guilt that lingered for weeks. Even her eyesight seemed to betray her. Margaret struggled to read the morning paper without squinting, and blurry patches clouded her vision when she tried to focus on her knitting. "This is just aging," she told herself, but deep down she began to worry. Finally, her daughter convinced her to visit the doctor. Margaret expected to hear the same advice she had heard before: get some rest, stay hydrated, and exercise more. But this time the news was different. After running a series of tests, her doctor sat her down with a concerned expression. "Margaret, your symptoms aren't just about aging," he said gently. "Your blood work shows severe deficiencies in vitamin K, folate, and antioxidants. These are essential for your energy levels, memory, eyesight, and even your bone strength." Margaret blinked, unsure of what to say. "What does that mean?" "It means your body isn't getting the nutrients it needs to stay healthy. These nutrients are found in leafy greens, spinach, kale, arugula. Without them, your health will continue to decline." The words hit Margaret like a hammer. She had always thought of food as fuel, nothing more. But now her diet was threatening her independence, her quality of life, and even her ability to stay active with her grandchildren. "But I don't like grains," she protested weakly. "They're slimy, bitter. I've tried them and they're just not for me." The doctor smiled sympathetically. "You don't have to eat them plain," he said. "There are ways to make them taste better or even hide them in your meals. Start small and see how your body responds." Reluctantly, Margaret agreed. When she returned home, she was greeted by her daughter, who was eager to help her turn things around. Together, they came up with a plan to incorporate greens into her meals in ways Margaret could tolerate. At first, it felt like a chore. Spinach went into her morning smoothies, hidden beneath the sweetness of bananas and berries. Kale was added to her chicken soup, softening into the broth without changing the flavor too much. Arugula found its way into her pasta dishes, its peppery bite balanced by olive oil and a sprinkle of parmesan. Margaret expected to hate it, but to her surprise, the changes weren't so bad. The smoothies were delicious, the soups were comforting, and the pasta dishes were satisfying. What Margaret didn't expect were the results. Within weeks, she felt a noticeable difference. Her energy levels began to climb. She no longer needed long naps in the middle of the day and found herself spending more time outdoors. Her memory improved too. She could recall small details and events with ease, something that had eluded her for years. Her eyesight became sharper, allowing her to enjoy her beloved books and knitting patterns again. Even her joints, which had ached for years, felt less stiff. By the time Margaret turned 80, she was a completely different person. She took up hiking with her grandchildren, joined a local book club, and became an outspoken advocate for healthy eating. "They're like a superpower for your body," she said, referring to the leafy greens she once despised. "If I'd known how much they could change my life, I would have started eating them years ago." Margaret's story became a source of inspiration in her community. Friends and family marveled at her transformation, and many began incorporating greens into their diets as well. Her journey proved that it's never too late to make a change, and that even the smallest adjustments can lead to extraordinary results. After Margaret's transformation, her story quickly became an inspiration for many in her community. But as people listened to her tale of recovery, they were left wondering, what was it about those leafy greens that made such a difference in her health? The answer lies in the remarkable properties of these vegetables, and Margaret's experience serves as a powerful reminder of how much they can benefit older adults. As we grow older, cognitive decline is one of the most concerning issues we face. Memory loss, difficulty concentrating, and even conditions like Alzheimer's and dementia become real fears for many. Margaret had no idea that adding leafy greens like spinach and kale to her meals would protect her mind in such a profound way. The antioxidants and vitamin K found in these greens play a key role in slowing cognitive decline. Antioxidants neutralize harmful free radicals, while vitamin K is essential for brain signaling, helping to protect against neurodegenerative diseases. When Margaret began including leafy greens in her diet, her memory sharpened, and she noticed an improvement in her ability to focus and recall details. Her once fading sharpness was revitalized, and she felt more present than ever. Bone health is another area that can suffer as we age. Many older adults experience decreased bone density, which increases the risk of fractures and falls. This is particularly concerning for seniors, whose bones become more fragile and vulnerable with time. Margaret was no exception, but once she incorporated more leafy greens into her meals, she noticed a significant difference. These greens, packed with vitamin K and calcium, helped her body absorb and retain calcium more effectively, supporting her bones and strengthening her frame. Vitamin K is crucial in ensuring that calcium is properly deposited in the bones rather than in the blood vessels. For Margaret, the days of stiffness and joint pain began to fade. She felt lighter on her feet, and her bones felt more resilient even as she continued to age. Cardiovascular health is a top priority for anyone, but as we grow older, the risk of heart disease and stroke increases. Margaret, like many older adults, didn't think much about her heart health. But once she started eating more leafy greens, she quickly noticed a difference. Greens like spinach and Swiss chard are packed with nitrates that help lower blood pressure and improve blood vessel function. These nitrates are converted into nitric oxide, which relaxes and dilates blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more freely and reducing strain on the heart. Margaret's blood pressure improved, and she felt more energetic and less winded after activities. Her heart was functioning more efficiently, and her risk of heart disease diminished. Digestive issues such as constipation are common for older adults, often leading to discomfort and even more severe health issues. For Margaret, the addition of leafy greens to her diet helped to regulate her digestion. Greens are rich in fiber, which aids in digestion by adding bulk to stool and promoting regular bowel movements. For seniors, a fiber-rich diet is vital to prevent constipation and maintain overall gut health. Since incorporating leafy greens, Margaret noticed a reduction in bloating and discomfort, making her feel more comfortable and at ease throughout the day. As people age, their eyesight tends to decline. Conditions like macular degeneration become more common, leaving many older adults with blurry vision or even blindness. Margaret had been struggling with her vision, but once she added more leafy greens to her meals, she began to see improvements. Greens like kale and spinach are packed with lutein and zeaxanthin, two antioxidants that help protect the retina from harmful light and reduce the risk of macular degeneration. These nutrients act as a shield for the eyes, protecting them from oxidative damage and keeping vision sharp. For Margaret, the improvement was nothing short of miraculous. She could read without glasses for the first time in years, and her vision felt clearer and sharper. One of the most powerful benefits of leafy greens is their ability to reduce inflammation. As we age, our bodies naturally experience increased levels of inflammation, which can lead to joint pain, arthritis, and chronic diseases like heart disease and diabetes. But the anti-inflammatory properties of leafy greens, particularly kale, spinach, and collard greens, work to reduce this inflammation and ease pain. Margaret had long struggled with joint stiffness, but after adding more greens to her diet, she noticed a decrease in her aches and pains. Her joints felt looser, and she was able to move with less discomfort, enjoying her daily activities once again. All of these benefits, improved memory, stronger bones, better heart health, a more comfortable digestive system, sharper vision, and reduced inflammation, come together to create a foundation of health that is essential for aging well. Margaret's transformation was not a quick fix, but rather the result of small, consistent changes in her diet. By adding leafy greens to her meals, she gave her body the tools it needed to thrive, and the impact on her overall health was undeniable. Margaret's story is proof that making a simple change, like incorporating more leafy greens into your diet, can have far-reaching effects on your health. It's a reminder that no matter how old you are, it's never too late to start nourishing your body with the nutrients it needs to function at its best. As Margaret's health improved, her enthusiasm for leafy greens spread beyond just herself. She began sharing her newfound knowledge with friends, family, and neighbors, urging them to take the same steps she had. Her experience showed that it wasn't just about adding a few vegetables to her diet. It was about a profound shift in how she approached her health as a whole. Margaret quickly became a passionate advocate for the power of nutrition in aging well. She would tell anyone who would listen that her vitality and energy weren't just the result of good luck or genetics. They were the direct outcome of what she was putting on her plate every day. Leafy greens aren't just food, she would say. They're like a superpower for your body, a simple way to protect yourself and keep thriving as you get older. Her story became a testament to the idea that we have control over our health, no matter how old we are, and it was inspiring others to take action. Her friends, who had previously shrugged off her advice about eating more vegetables, began to reconsider. A neighbor who had been dealing with high blood pressure started eating kale every day, and within a few months, his numbers dropped significantly. Another friend, struggling with digestion issues, followed Margaret's advice to add more fiber-rich greens to her meals and found relief from the discomfort that had plagued her for years. Seeing the impact her transformation had on those around her filled Margaret with a sense of pride and purpose. She realized that her experience wasn't just about improving her own health, it was about inspiring others to take charge of their well-being too. The change in her health wasn't just physical, it had created a ripple effect in her community, sparking conversations about aging, nutrition, and the power of food to heal. But Margaret's journey didn't stop with leafy greens. As she continued to learn more about healthy aging, she began to embrace other small lifestyle changes that would support her newfound vitality. She became more mindful of her sleep patterns, prioritizing rest and creating a calming bedtime routine. She started incorporating more movement into her day, even if it was just a gentle walk or a few stretches in the morning. These small steps, along with her commitment to eating more vegetables, helped her maintain the energy and resilience that had once seemed so out of reach. And as her energy levels soared, so did her sense of joy and purpose. Margaret rediscovered a love for life she hadn't felt in years. She hiked with her grandchildren, started a garden, and found herself enjoying activities she had long forgotten. Her newfound strength wasn't just physical, it was emotional too. She felt more connected to her loved ones, more capable of enjoying life to the fullest, and more confident that she could continue to live a long, healthy life. The most powerful lesson Margaret learned was that small changes can lead to big results. Adding leafy greens to her diet was a simple act, but it had a profound impact on her overall health and well-being. It wasn't about making drastic changes overnight, it was about taking small, consistent steps toward better health. For Margaret, it was about giving herself the chance to age gracefully and with vitality, and in doing so, she was able to inspire others to do the same. As Margaret reflects on her journey, she is proud not only of the physical changes she's experienced, but also of the legacy she's building. She's now teaching her children and grandchildren the importance of nutrition and self-care, ensuring that her story will be passed down through generations. She understands now that taking care of your body isn't just about avoiding illness, it's about living your best, most vibrant life at every age. And the key to that, she believes, is as simple as eating your greens.